Welcome back to My Digital Hotel, our web series dedicated to the digital transformation on the hospitality after the coronavirus crisis. So, as every Tuesday, is with me Claudia Ferrero.
Hi guys, hi Maurizio, how are you?
Ciao Claudia, fine, and you?
I'm fine, thank you. Very excited for tonight.
Yes, second episode in English
Yeah,
because
now.
now we are international, so we have a lot of guests from other countries. So last week we have the Professor Dahl from Switzerland, and today another guest, special guest from Germany.
Germany, this time from Germany. And we
Yes.
know that the Germans are very
Okay. So they are really different
very
from
good
Italians.
workers.
Okay,
Exactly.
but she's a German. She's a German girl. Okay, but she works internationally because
Yes, yes.
she works with a lot of big international organizations.
Exactly. She has many aspects that really are so interesting. So I'm really happy that she accepted to be with us tonight.
Yes, so we are thrilled to speak about data and especially data driven for hospitality. So that's a really big topic. Usually, hoteliers in Italy is not so keen on. Huh?
No, they don't really like the
Yes.
topic, I think.
So we hope we have a good audience today because it's a really a great occasion, in my opinion, because we saw the work of our guest. It's really interesting, a lot of data for our hoteliers. But as every day, we have with us our live manager, Antonio.
Hi guys, nice to see you again. How do you do?
Ciao,
Fine,
Antonio.
Antonio.
Ciao.
Nice to
So,
see you again.
Okay, exceptionally for today, we're not going to launch any poll because
Okay.
of the
oh,
importance of the speech, and I want people to be focused on what we are going to say.
It's true.
And
It's true.
I have to confess that when I saw the work of our guest, I was really surprised because, as you know, guys, I'm very fond of about numbers and datas and stuff like that, and I'm a bit curious. So the only thing I can tell to the people is stay focused on because this is a very big speech. So good luck.
oh,
Okay, thank you. Let me just mention about my poll that I launched last week.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I asked the audience if they had a strategy based on the analysis of data, and incredibly, 67% answered yes, 8% said no, and 25% said I would like, but I don't know where to start. So maybe for these 25%, we are going to give a little help for managing data and extract information and how to deal with data tonight.
yeah, it should be interesting for everyone, but especially for this small percentage of people. Okay,
But
but
I don't know if it's true, if they really have
okay, we
a
hope
strategy.
it.
I hope so. I hope
Yeah,
so. I was really surprised.
we
But,
hope that.
let's see. Let's see.
Okay.
But let me just introduce our special guest tonight. She's a market intelligence specialist with over 9 years of experience in identifying data sources, analyzing and translating it into easily understandable insights for better decision making. Experienced in creating effective data visualizations to communicate results to different audiences. Work experience in the private and public sector, as we're going to see in a few minutes, and a member of Where Rise Up. Do you know, Maurizio, what's Where We Rise Up?
Yes, I know it but maybe it's better if our guest is speaking
Exactly.
about Rise Up with us now. So welcome to
Julia Baunemann.
Hello, nice to meet you all, and I'm very happy to be here. It's a great initiative because I think we really need to convince everyone that while the tourism industry or the hospitality industry is maybe not as active, that we use the time to get prepared for what's coming after, because it's also not going to be easy.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, you're right. So, Julia, introduce yourself.
Yeah, I mean, as Claudia already mentioned, I'm a business intelligence specialist. I've been working now for almost 10 years in tourism-related organizations. While I work for the World Tourism Organization, I also worked in a company dealing with tourism data. So basically, my entire career has been dealing with data in tourism specifically. And last year, I became independent consultant, and now I'm just specializing in creating business intelligence systems that allow everyone to take better decisions. And yeah, this is a little bit what I do, and we will see later what that means to work with data. So I'm very happy to be here, and yeah, very excited.
We are all really curious about your job and about the data you are going to show today. But before jumping into our topic, I would like to welcome all the guys we are following today our live. So we are Olivia and Erica, we have Fausto and Cristina, and I hope many other people waiting for this interesting topic today. Claudia.
Yes. Okay. So let's jump into our topic, and let's talk about first of all what kind of data. Okay, because of course in tourism many decisions are still not taken based on data, because it's often hidden in tables. So nowadays we have a huge amount of information available from different sources. Let's see which ones are these sources. So every day we generate tons of data along our activities in every department. So let's say sales, pricing, marketing, clients, even reviews can create a great source of data. Then we have, for instance, so all these are data, so we can call them small data, because they are related to our main activity. Then we have data coming from tourist boards, for instance, that can be local or national or even foreigner. And also, for instance, airports that can provide us a great insights, such as number of passengers arrival and coming from these spots. Also, Google has been very helpful, especially in the latest years. In regards data, especially with this new tool called Destination Insights. We had a lot of webinars that told about these new kind of tools. Also, of course, we cannot forget the big data platforms such as Sojourn, Mambrian, Forward Keys, AirDNA. There are many others, of course, depending on which kind of data are you looking for. but some of them are free. Some others are you have to pay to get this data. But of course, when you try to analyze a special argument, you need, of course, to have as much data as you can. And last but not least, we have United Nations, because United Nations mission is to promote and develop tourism as a significant means of fostering international peace, understanding, economic development, and international trade. And they really provide a lot of data from a lot of years. I remember I saw some Excels regarding many kind of information. And Julia, by the way, I read that since 2013 you have collaborated with them. Could you tell us what you have done in these years, and a little bit about your experience in this field?
Actually in 2013 I started there as an intern, and I stayed there for quite a long time, and so I've done a lot of different things, but everything related to data, analyzing data, working with the raw data behind. So and it was very interesting also to analyze tourism on a global perspective, to see really the different impacts. Sometimes were natural impacts, sometimes were political things, or it was just interesting to see how small changes somewhere in the world could impact tourism so much. So in the end, that's what we were working there, always just analyzing all the data that the colleagues were gathering from all the countries in the world, and then compiling them, and having reports on different issues in different regions, for example. And then 2 years ago or something, we started visualizing data and creating dashboards, so that people, because a lot of people are always a little bit scared by just looking at big tables and everything. So we're trying to find ways on how can we make the data, let's say, easier to digest.
Yeah,
so that's when we started developing the dashboards and making them more visual. And I think it really helped, because a lot of people now use the data more. Before it was a lot of, exactly. This is a very nice example. Of course, those tables are still there.
I remember those tables.
Yes,
exactly.
we
And I mean, they're
saw
still
it a lot of
useful
time.
because because we have a lot of let's say very technical people who are used to data. So for them, this is no issue. But in the end, tourism is again about so many small businesses, and maybe for them it's not so easy to work with this kind of table. So we also wanted to create something that makes data accessible for everyone.
Okay, so visualizing data is related to dashboards only, or also other kind of visualizations?
No, in the end, like, we have been visualizing not just data, but we just 2 weeks ago we launched a new destination tracker, which shows how open each destination is. Like, are the restaurants open in different countries? How can you enter the countries? What are the COVID numbers currently? How's the vaccination going? So of course, it's in the end everything is data, but it's not only about numbers, but also you can have visualize other information. Or we also had we have a dashboard with policy measures that have been taken last year by different countries in the world on how to encourage or support the tourism industry. So this is just a vast number of it's a lot of information, and you have to try and find ways on how to communicate it in a way that people don't feel suffocating from all the information overload. So we really try to categorize them and make it user friendly to access this kind of information.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really interesting because human invents numbers, but numbers usually are not so beautiful for people, no? Because people are scared usually by numbers, no?
Yeah.
So try to understand how people can understand better numbers. If you can show them in a different way, it's a really interesting job. I think it's something like related to psychology also. Julia, no, it's not only about which colors, no?
Yeah, no, exactly. It's many different things, and but even with the colors, that's all because we're so attached to certain colors. So, for example, if suddenly I would make all the positive growth in red, people would be very confused. So there's so much attached to the visualization of data. And I think a lot of people actually with this type of showing the data don't realize that they're actually better than they believed before.
Yeah, okay. So, Claudia, just to
Maybe
go.
Yeah,
on,
maybe we can share her screen and see about this. She just mentioned trackers. So let's see what they are, and let's see some data. So just to have an idea of her work that she has done with the United Nations.
Exactly. Here, for example, we have Italy, and we can see that, of course, in the accommodation sectors, we still have some restrictions, and we can see the details here. And someone who wants to travel to Italy and wants to know, can I sleep? Can I stay at a hotel? Can I eat? Can I go to restaurants? We'll have all the information here, and you can just select any kind of, any country you want. Or if you want to see, how's Italy doing currently with the data? And it's going down, so that's good, and the vaccinations are going up. And for example, if you want to see how certain indicators are currently all over the world, for example,
So which sources are from all this data? Do you use different sources?
Exactly. So this is also one of the great things that UNWTO has achieved, is that they really collaborate with different data sources. So we use the data that that UNWTO's regional departments are gathering on the on some of the indicators, and then IATA is providing the data on anything regarding air travel. And then we also use our World in data for anything health related, and then also there's an Oxford tracker that also tracks certain indicators. For example, if you can use public transportation. And then let me also show you a different one, which is this one. This is the recovery tracker, and it's another really great work, and it really shows how combining different data sources and working with different data partners to really give an overall image of tourism is really helping to support the tourism industry and also the hospitality. So, for example, if you have the hotel searches in Italy, of course, we see a little bit that it's going up, but that's also because it compares to last year, which was very bad. So also sometimes visualizations can be tricky because you really need to understand what it means. But it's still, Italy is a really nice example how it was really going much better in the summer, and then
went down
as
again.
all the destinations in Europe, we went down a lot again in fall and
in winter. Yes,
in winter.
fall and winter.
Exactly. So you can really see also if you go to the overview.
And it's quite easy. It's quite easy to surf from a source to another. I mean, I'm impressed at how it's easy to just jump into one source to another and see immediately what you are looking for.
Exactly, because that's another problem with data. There's so much data nowadays that it's spread everywhere, and there's no way you can keep up with checking back a lot of different pages. One for the accommodation, then you're looking for something for air transport. And I think this one is really a nice example of when you work together with a lot of different data sources and put them together in one, you really get much better image of or view of how everything is going. So this is just a recommendation for me, just to really go into those kind of dashboards and discover them and get inspired.
Yeah. So Julia, all these data are free for people who want to. Only you have to sign up on the website of the United Nations, I think.
You just go to the website and then you can browse through the data. Of course, if you want to have more specific data for example, if you want to see how the south of Italy is doing, of course, we don't go in that much detail, but that's why we provide the data providers that give us this data for free. They are they're happy, of course, to sell their product if you are interested in the more detailed information. I think a lot of time it's really worth it to get more data, more specific data. But I think just to also get an overview of what is available and the overall performance of the destination or even the source markets, this is great. And yeah, I recommend everyone to go there.
Yeah,
and check it out.
By the way, these are always updated, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So the destination trackers actually updated every single day. So whenever IATA changes they update the data constantly. Like it's every minute could be another update. So those dashboards are updated either daily or at least weekly.
Mm-hmm.
But the destination, because really UNWTO really wants to restart tourism, so people need to be informed, and that's why this is one of the most up-to-date tools on all kinds of restrictions in the world for free. So it's important to have it updated.
Yeah.
So it's a really great job about you have to join a lot of different sources. So how difficult is it?
Well, I mean, let's say it's difficult for someone who has never worked with it before, of course, but it's not impossible. So if you get used to the program and understand also a little bit data and how to connect data, if you've worked with databases before, you're very familiar with those kind of concepts on how to do that. But even, you have to start somewhere. I started somewhere as well. So we say nothing is impossible. And it's just really matter also how it makes sense. You have to group certain things. For example, to have all the air transport together, or all the accommodation sector together, just to also make it easier to guide. You have to understand also a little bit on what does the user want to see, because in the end there's 100 or 1,000 possibilities of showing data, but you really need to know a little bit what does the user want to see. So there's work behind it, of course, but I don't want people to be afraid of starting it. And that's what I always say, like, if you start now, in a year or so, you can already do a really good job.
So fine, really, really interesting. Antonio, do we have any question from the audience?
There is a comment. There is a comment from our Fausto Scordato that follows us on every episode. And resuming what he's saying, he says, too many datas, it's the same of no datas. If you have not any kind of dashboard to show them. What's your opinion on?
Exactly. I mean, I see this every day, that there's so many Excel files especially in the hospitality industry as well. Like there's so much data generated automatically already, and if it's just hidden in some kind of reservation system or some Excel files or PDF files, there's no use to it, because the data is not going to magically turn into insights. So you really have to use the data, put it into context visually, and also make sense out of it, and also ask the data, because otherwise you can visualize everything, but if you don't make specific question what you want to answer with the data, it's also not useful.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So Julia, so you aim two different goals with this kind of tool. I think you aim to help travelers to find information about the location or the country they want to visit. And on the other side, you help professionals to give information about the the recovery of the travel industry.
Exactly. Because I think everyone has to be involved. So everyone needs information, even the travelers, the hoteliers, and everyone working with it. So I think it's a great initiative that UNWTO started, and that I was able to participate in.
Yeah, so it's really important because you try to, all the stakeholders are important in the travel industry, so it's important to join everyone together. So Claudia, I think, but we have some opposition usually when we speak about data.
Yeah, correct. Although much has been said and written on the subject, several hotel managers have never really tried an approach to data. Maybe because of these problems that we just mentioned. So at the end, they ended up abandoning it for many reasons. Here are a couple of examples of why they never tried to have a data-driven approach. The first one, I think, I believe, is not to have a data-driven culture, because they are not aware of this chance that now technology offers. Because I remember as a hotel manager as well, that it was really, really hard to put everything together without spending a lot of money. I mean, it was really hard to find a tool that could give us this chance. But again, I noticed a lot of managers that didn't really care about data. They just say that their experience was enough. Their intuition would drive them into the best solutions. So they thought that they could do without it. And also many times preconceptions I think are one of the obstacles, because when you say, and this is an attitude that relies on in general with the technology. When you say, oh no, it's too complicated, I'm not going to use it because I don't understand anything. So they think it's too complicated, but innovation instead makes things much easier and in a quicker and easier way. So it's just if we try to give up with these preconceptions, then we will open our mind to new opportunities. And sometimes, of course, the scarce financial availability can be an obstacle. But again, if you see it just as a cost and not as an investment, and you won't see all the advantages that this tool or this technology will bring you, then of course you will see it just as a cost and not as something that will help you to drive your hotel or your activity to something successful, because data don't lie. They just give you a great insight. Of course, they don't offer you the solution, but they give you the perfect insight to your questions, and then from that, then you can use your own brain and for the best solution and the best strategies. I would like to take this opportunity, since Julia has been working as a private consultant over last year. So among these bias, which one, in your opinion, has been the most difficult to manage, and why?
Actually, all of them. There's a little bit of all of them. That's why I always say that it's really, you have to take a really big approach from all sides. Like, it shouldn't be difficult. Like, in the end, the overall aim should be that everyone in the, if you have a hotel, everyone in the hotel should be able to use this data to make better decisions. Even if the head of the cleaning staff should be able to look at a dashboard and immediately see what actions this person has to take. It shouldn't be something that only a crazy data scientist in the head office should be able to work on. It should be really something that should enable everyone in the entire hotel, for example, to take decisions. And also, for example, this with the experience and intuition, especially in smaller hotels, that in the past, it's like you always had your same clients coming, the type of hotels, the type of clients were always the same. They booked at the same time of the year. And maybe until now, you had no problems with this kind of approach. Maybe you lost out on some opportunities for other clients that would spend more, but you could survive with what you had. But now with COVID, everything has changed. So even different types of people are coming now. For example, if Italy opens before Spain, the Germans will go to Italy. So it's really important to understand, like, where do you do your marketing? When do you do it? And this is not like before, because if Germany if they're not advancing with their vaccinations, maybe every German wants to suddenly travel in September and October. So there's no point in doing marketing now, but maybe do it a little bit later when they can travel. So there's so many decisions that you can't just make out of experience anymore. You really need to look at different types of data. And you don't have to start with the most complicated program, but just look at one set of data that you can have access to, even if it's the ones that visit your website. Maybe just look at this and then start from there and see, can I get anything out of this kind of data? Look at your direct bookings. What type of people are booking now compared to before? Like, what's changing? So you can already detect some trends. You don't have to have the most complicated system that covers everything. Just go step by step. And then, it takes a little bit the fear out of the whole thing.
So I have a question, Julia. So if an hotelier want to embed this data on his website, is it possible to ask to the United Nations to embed the information of his country, for example, or Italy?
What they do is normally you can just link to the website directly and exactly. But
okay,
and
so
extract
this is possible. So you can link the website directly to the page and then extract the information
so
about
that people
Italy.
go because what we want to encourage a little bit, that people just don't look at one single dashboard, but they discover all the other ones. So we usually try to encourage just to use the link to the website itself, and then let people go there directly and discover also the other kind of information out there.
Yeah, because maybe the traveler doesn't know. So in the United Nations website, there are all the information about Italy. An Italian hotelier could be interested also to have all the information on a section or on a page on the website, because if the data are updated daily or weekly, so it's really important, because if you are monitoring also the policy of the government about quarantine and all the other issues about traveling, so that's really interesting.
I have a question regarding the green pass. I mean, in Italy now,
Great
yesterday,
and difficult question.
Just yesterday, I think our government said that they will issue this green pass for Italians or for foreigners coming to our country, and allow them to travel around Italy. Of course, we all waiting for the European pass in order to fly over and traveling throughout Europe. Do you think that this kind of data will be inserted in the tracker? Or I mean, do you have any information about this or not?
Not yet, that because at least I'm not aware yet, like what's the current status of this green pass and all the information. But of course, like once this information becomes available, it will also be included in like we just move on, because at the beginning, of course, there was no data on vaccination, so that wasn't even on our list. But then it became so important now, and we really see that in the countries that have higher vaccination rates, that they are already allowing other people that are vaccinated to come to the destinations. So we really see the demand picking up there. So this is really something that we want to monitor as well. But we have to see a little bit how everything goes and what is possible to include and what not.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why it's important just to keep checking back, because there will be new things coming along all the time.
Yeah, so there are different sources of data. Maybe there is coming in the next weeks. So it's not something it's
Fixed.
done in this way and it's not statical.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it will change.
Okay, you're going to change. So Antonio, some questions from the audience?
I would like to tell Julia about one of my young experience in an hotel, and I can remember as yesterday. I do remember that the owner of the hotel, that was the manager as well, it was a family-run hotel, came to me with 100 pages of numbers and said, "Here's the data. Now tell me what I have to do." And I spent over 15 days and nights on just to build up Excel graphics and show
Oh my God.
whatever. I do remember, but I know I love numbers, and it was not a big deal. Okay, but I'm talking about something 20 years ago. It's not yesterday. Okay, so that manager built up his own PMS and his own RMS, and using my Excel sheets. So no money for me, but no way. No.
Sorry for that.
Our Cristina Gambino says that today is impossible to drive any strategy without data, as the market is changing day by day so fast, and that is impossible to take a decision without watching any kind of statistic. And as well, Fausto says that the BI, the business intelligence, is starting to enter the hotels, even if it's only at 10% of the hotel are running the BIs. But the main obstacle of the family-run hotel today is just to aggregate the data, because the same PMS it's quite not built to share data with departments, and so they have to extract and mix it up by themselves. So there's no help with the new machine, even if we know the technology is pushing forward this kind of aggregation. What do you think, Claudia?
I agree. In sense, I said earlier, then technology and innovation give us every day something new, and tools more usable than in the past. So these tools will allow us to work easier with data, and put all the information together in order, and not only normally, because I saw recently many people talking about business intelligence, especially with regards marketing or revenue management. But I believe that the future will go deeper into our day-by-day activities. So to decide to take any decisions that we have to take it every day for our own business, such as human resources. For instance, how many people should I plan to work that day or another day, or if I'm going to fill my restaurant in 2 days or not, things like that. So I trust that in the future we'll see new goals that we can reach through innovation and technology.
Thank you.
So I think it's really important how easy is to reach data, to use that in our everyday life, no? Because I think now with the iPhone or with a smartphone, it's really easy to have all the information maybe about your payment. For example, if you pay with the Apple Pay or Google Pay app, and also it's really easy to understand where you spend your money and how and how much, no? But in the past, if you use the cash, it's really difficult to take note of all your expenses, no? So
I mean, it took time. It took time
because you have to register every piece of paper when you go to the withdrawal and take the cash. So, and now it's different now. So I think it's going to be the same also for the hoteliers. If you don't have to print on the paper every kind of information you have on your PMS, because that's the point, no? So you have a lot of data on your PMS, but if you want to match the different information you have on it, you have to print a lot of papers. So that's a big problem. So
yeah.
Antonio, we have a question from Fausto, I think.
Yes, I have a question for Julia, always from Fausto. Did you experience with the predictive analysis in hospitality, IDEAS forecast analysis, and how do you consider this approach in terms of results? Is it comfortable or not, especially for the quality of the results?
I mean, this is an interesting question. It depends also a little bit on what does the system use to do those forecasts. Because if it uses historical data to make a forecast, of course, it's maybe before it worked, but now it's going to be a disaster, because we even see this with our other data. Since if there were 0 tourists in April last year, and it's even just 1 tourist, it's already a growth.
But that's the approach of most of the revenue managers in the past.
Exactly, and I think this might have worked until now, but now it won't work. So I think there's a lot of other things that are important, because what we always say, like combining different types of data sources. For example, now if you can somehow have search, or is there more interest for booking search or bookings or searches going on from which destination? Like that's what the Google Destination Insights is doing a little bit to see, have people been searching more for which destination, and they compare it to where they were normally searching. For example, the Germans. Maybe normally they were already booking their summer holidays in January and always go to the same destinations, and maybe now suddenly you see a different pattern. So there's a lot of information nowadays that you can use to do some kind of forecast, but also while the situation is still a little bit tricky, can we travel, can we not travel? It's difficult to make forecasts, but I think if this program just relies on historical data, it's going to be not only a problem this year, but even the next year, because even the current year, once it's historical data, will not be a normal year. So I think those predictive things work if everything is normal, but when are things normal? If it's just, we saw this in previous years when we were analyzing data, if there was, for example, a strong hurricane season in the Caribbean, the data was really bad for 1 year, and the next year suddenly was, of course, very high again because it recovered. But in the end, the numbers itself compared to a normal year were still nothing extraordinary. But people think like, oh, there has been doubling in the Caribbean. It's like, no, it's just last year was so bad.
Yeah, so everyone wants to predict the future, but
Yeah.
it's not. But it's really difficult to predict the future because historical data usually are not so relevant for the future. No, so
Yeah.
that's really it's a kind of I think it's a kind of philosophical problem, no, philosophical approach, because it's not
Yeah.
only about data. So I think, Claudia, you want to show something. Maybe we can change our mind about how difficult it is to use data.
Yeah, let's see.
As a hotel manager, it is very important to get an overview of all activities in your properties to really understand your business. We all know that statistics and reporting are essential, but in practice, it's not so easy to build a suitable solution because you have to extract, store, calculate, and visualize all this data. This kind of project requires a lot of time and money with a huge number of techniques. Now you can create all the dashboards and reports you need with a simple drag and drop interface. With a lot of customization and segmentation, you can create your own dashboards for revenues, stays, F&B, reception, and even accounting. Don't waste your time and money, have a better look at your company and make the right decisions at the right time.
Yes, I think it's a funny video. As it's shown in the video, for years, hotel managers have used PDF or Excel reports, which were adapted to a common work platform and process what was needed in view of the decisions to be made. We spent hours and hours every day to retrieve data from different reports, export them to Excel, copy and paste, analyze them, and so on. So the result was, meantime, the data has already become old. So custom dashboards, interactive reports, captivating graphical views. Now, I think allows to explore data and information with ease. And in completely safety, no need to ask our IT department or software vendor for help. So this is made possible by softwares of is so-called business intelligence. Maybe Julia can explain us a little bit what is a business intelligence and the purpose of a business intelligence.
Yeah, in the end, I mean, I think you showed it very well. Like, just by bringing in all the different information, for example, even if you have a lot of Excel files, there's the BI tool, for example, you can just put it all together, and like you just have to do one click and everything refreshes. Whenever you put a new Excel file in there, it just automatically gets that ingested into this system, and then it lets you first of all clean your data, because maybe there's some information that you don't need. You don't need to have everything in there. And then it lets you really, as I mentioned before, you really have to think about like, what do you need to know? You don't need to visualize everything, because otherwise you can fill pages and pages of dashboards. But then also it's again the same problem as with the PDFs before. If you have 20 different dashboards, you're not going to go to them. So you really have to make sure that with the few pages or few views, you answer all the questions that your users might need to know to make better decisions. And there's also now more and more possibilities what you can do with those business intelligence tools. There's a lot of automation now, and also the programs already start detecting any anomalies. It already starts doing some kind of, like we said, predictions. But of course, you always have to understand a little bit what it does. You can't completely rely on that. So if you really want to make use of those very advanced tools, you need to know a little bit how it works. But even just, that's why I always say we always forget a little bit about this, especially in tourism and in hospitality. We forget a little bit about the small hotels, because the big ones, of course, they should invest in this kind of technology, and they should have people being able to use this at a very high level. But even a small business or small hotel or family hotel should just use the more basic stuff of it, because they'll already have a great benefit of it. And just being able to constantly track the kind of development it has, it kind of flags. You can even see which markets, for example, are doing better, which ones are doing worse, without having to go through a lot of PDFs.
Yes.
Yeah, because in the past you need to have a data scientist to create this kind of tool. Nowadays you can find in the market a tool that really allows you to do that without having such a big knowledge of data scientist.
No, that's why I always say also, if someone is already interested in data, of course, maybe someone who has never ever even touched an Excel file, maybe it's a little bit difficult still. But I always think someone who has interest in data and who's motivated to learn something new can easily do this, like start now. And I assure you, you won't have a problem regarding employment in the future, because there is so much demand currently. And people and the tourism industry is still a little bit behind with all of that. But once this catches on, those people really are off the market in a very short time.
Yeah.
So you think that there will be new profiles?
Exactly, for sure.
Professional profiles.
And there will be hotels who are really fighting for those few profiles, or for those few people that have those profiles. So it's just a suggestion from my side. If you are talented with data, get learning now. So
no, because many people are now at home because they are jobless or they are temporarily out of the business. So
and there's really great courses on this that cost, like I started with some Udemy courses that are like 10 euros or something, and you learn a lot. LinkedIn Learning has really good courses, but even on YouTube, there's so many YouTube tutorials on this. So just to start with this and then get practicing, because the practice in the end is the one that gets you better. Just get some hotel data and start practicing, and you will see the learning curve is tremendous.
Yes. So, and for this reason, we have a look to the trend of the development of business intelligence.
Yes, maybe before we show, maybe it's not so well viewed the value of business intelligence. Let me just wrap up a little bit. We also saw that we can see the stories in our data when we visualize through the dashboards, thanks to the business intelligence. So anyone can see the whole picture with a click. As Julia mentioned, it's not something that it's usable by the top management of a hotel, but also all the team members, such as maids or waiters, or so anybody can be involved in this sharing in sharing this information that are so necessary for our goals. So regarding the trends, as you said, Maurizio, this is a slide that I took from the Hotel Tech report, which for me is always a good reference in the technology world. And they confirmed that for this year, there must be a digital workspace, okay? Where since we are all now online and we need to do a different webinar and calls like we are doing right now, we also need to have a place where all our team members can meet and share this information in multiple areas. And also for, as we were saying, for analysis and forecast, we can have a great benefit from it. So really, we are seeing that this kind of tool really will be, for me, in my opinion, but also for Hotel Tech Report, it will be one of the coolest tool to have for our business. So to wrap up, because we are getting close to our hour, I would say to go on with our slide and see what kind of solutions we can find out there. So we first of all, and Julia already mentioned, if we decided to go on, we can use start with some files and maybe use one of the Google tools that it's called Google Data Studios, and it's free, and we can just put limited type of data. If we want to collect a whole database, of course, then we need to use software like Power BI by Microsoft or Tableau. I had a look. I didn't know that it was made by Salesforce. Or we can also get an end from a consultant like Julia, or specific product we find already on the market, and we will see in a few minutes. But before going to that, I would like to ask Julia, what are your comments about this one, and what we could do on our own if you see that it's feasible without any base, any knowledge?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is already, if you have no base, then just start with Excel, because with Excel you can already practice like it's very intuitive. Everyone has been working a little bit at least with Excel, so it's something you can start with. You can even do little dashboards in Excel, but of course that's really something that is good enough for a small family run hotel. But if you want to get a little bit more professional, invest a little bit more time and efforts, I really encourage to, for example, Power BI, if you just use it for yourself, it's even free. Like, you can just download it and you can use it for free. The only thing is, later on, if you want to share it within the company and all of this, then you would need an account. But even that one, the let's say the basic stage is 10 euros a month, and you already have a lot of possibilities to work with this. For
How
20
much
euros,
is that? Sorry, how much?
10 euros per month.
10 euros.
Yeah.
It's really ridiculous.
It's really cheap.
Yeah. No, it's coming. For 20 euros, you even have a lot of more other functions. Like with the 10 euros, you're perfectly fine to do everything, I think, that a normal user needs to do on a daily day, where they want to share it. If you want the free version, that already does almost everything as well. It's just not able to share it with other colleagues, for example. But if you're the only one working with it, then even the free one is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
I didn't know that it was so cheap.
Yeah, no, and it's really because it's all part of the Microsoft thing, so it really integrates very well with anything Microsoft related, or it connects to almost any kind of database. So it really, for me, I'm not getting paid by Microsoft to say this, but I'm a big fan.
No, I understand. So, just a few suggestions as we are going to conclude our episode. If we decided to do on our own, we of course we need to learn a little bit and practice, as you already mentioned. You mentioned LinkedIn. And Udemy or Udemy, I don't know how to pronounce it, the academy online.
Yeah.
I think we should not be afraid of data, because data, they help us, and they don't make our life worse. We don't need to start with big data, as you said, but we need to start with small data, with our own data. For example, I think we should compare the data in order to have, as you said, no surprises in terms of if I compare this year with last year, or last year with the previous year. Of course, data could be a little bit tricky, and that there are many ways of visualize, as we saw, the data. But I think the most important one is that we should know which questions we would like to ask the data and use the data, because I think that sometimes we are a little bit too much confused and we don't know what to do. So we first of all focus on what we would like to know, which kind of questions and which kind of answers we would like to get. And of course, we know that data won't give us the solutions. They just will answer our questions, but then we will. It's our knowledge, it's our experience, it's our maybe team members that can help, but it's us, it's our brain that then take the decisions. Okay, it's not the data.
And the solution, yes.
Exactly. So if we do it externally, of course, we can ask. I think you do that daily. You know, you have hoteliers that ask for your help, right, Julia?
Well, I mean, currently I'm in two other projects, so for now I don't have any hoteliers at the moment.
But maybe this new profession, these new consultants that are coming over.
Yeah.
Actually, in Italy we have one. It's called Umberto Lisoli. I don't know if he's watching us, but I saw he's doing a tremendous work. Doing this, I think he works with the Power BI, and he has his own website called Maurizio Hotel
Analytics, I think.
Hotel Analytics.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we also have we can buy products on the market. As I said, some of our PMS already provide us a couple of these tools. Also, I don't know if you know, there is a Swiss startup that was born in Lausanne, and it's called The Blend. I suggest you guys to watch it out, because they already made this tool with it's very operational, so it's not only focused like Juyo or M3 in revenue management, but the Blend is more for all the operational departments. So it's kind of cool to see in action. So, Julia, it has been a real pleasure to have you with us. Would you like to add something to wrap up our episode? Any other suggestions?
So, Claudia, I think we have a couple of questions from the audience before close the live. Antonio.
Okay. You're mute.
Antonio? Sorry, give me a second. I'm here.
No.
Casey was reading all the, the comments.
It's an hard job, the live manager.
Just to confirm you guys that Umberto Lusoli was watching us and is just reporting a remark to say thanks, Claudia. Okay, and we have a question from Cristina Gambino that says, as a consultant, Julia, how much it could be helpful to teach all the employees using or analyzing the data just to make an everyday job, especially for that person that usually are cut off from the analysis, like, I don't know, like a receptionist or a maid or the housekeeping department? How could help a family-run hotel where usually we have a receptionist, there is a barman, there is also a waiter,
a chef.
Yeah, no, I think in the end, if you can get your entire team on board to work and understand the data to make better decisions, of course, because a lot of times people, if they work and they realize there is an issue in something without just, of course, they can still raise it with their superior, but if they can already detect things and analyze the data and think about solutions on how to solve it, since they will be the ones with the most knowledge, a lot of times that's already much more useful. Like what the example I mentioned before, if housekeeping has much more insights into data, they can really prioritize certain things and make everything more efficient, because they will be the ones that have also the, let's say, the business knowledge of how it really works. Maybe some manager on top doesn't know all the details and maybe might not respond accordingly, but if everyone has access, that's a little bit also the entire concept of the business intelligence, is that it's a democratization of data. So really giving access to everyone to make better decisions, and that doesn't stop at the, like, it should be really for everyone involved. Also, that gives really the people more responsibility for their jobs and also makes them more happy in their job if they if they're not just there and do their job, but really seeing that they are part of the whole thing and can change something.
Yeah, but Julia, don't you think that the democratization of data is something related with the cultural bias of the owner? Maybe the owner doesn't want to share data with employees. Maybe in some country there is a cultural bias bigger than other countries.
Yeah, of course, that's also always the issue, and that I see also in my job sometimes when we talk about the being more efficient in checking that users or that the employees work efficiently. Of course, there will be some kind of opposition from them. It's like, are you really keeping track of me? And
are you watching me?
Seeing it as something negative. So of course there's a boundary that you have to be careful and always communicate well and really show people that you're not using that data to keep an eye on them and make sure that they are working non-stop or something, but really showing the benefits of having that data, and also to making their for example, if suddenly the manager sees like how efficient actually the new employee is, maybe it's really worth investing in them more, while before maybe the manager wouldn't realize like how much that person is actually working. So it really it works both ways.
I think data empowers people to be more involved in the daily business. So I think
so the problem is that data usually are also knowledge, and knowledge is power. So someone maybe don't want to share power.
Yeah, but then there's other issues behind that that even data doesn't solve then.
Yes, you're right. Antonio.
There is another remark from Fausto that is said here in Italy, especially in Italy, we do have the bad habit to match any kind of data with the account department. And if you don't, data are considered as not valid. What could be a suggestion of yours on that?
Of course, you always have to kind of understand where your data is coming from. Also, what kind of transformation process you do to the data to get what you have in the end. If you can show in the end that accounting did a mistake because your data is foolproof, then maybe it's also good thing to say, well, don't trust accounting because my data is actually showing a different image. So of course you have to see, like, does it match? And if it doesn't match, you have to see why doesn't it match, and then But normally that's a good thing with data. You can really trace where the data is coming from if you do it properly. Of course, if you suddenly come up with some data and no one knows where this is coming from, that's not good. But normally with those business intelligence tools, for example, it's very easy because it really shows the steps or the transformation you do to your data. While before in Excel, someone might have just copy pasted something the wrong way. But in the business intelligence tools, there's no way of copy pasting something, because every step you say, if you change something, it's written there. Like, this user changed this in the data.
You can keep track.
You can track exactly what steps you have done to the data. While of course with Excel and copy pasting things, it's impossible. Or even someone copying text from a PDF that was printed into an Excel file. Of course, the chance that something went wrong there are much higher than with your new system.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a cultural change for small entrepreneurs, especially, I think.
Mm-hmm. We hope they will do.
Yes, we hope they will do. And if they can't, so if they need help, people can find Julia on LinkedIn, I think.
Yes, I'm there on LinkedIn.
Okay, so follow Julia and all his work on the data, business data, on business analysis. So that's really interesting, I think, for all the hospitality industry in Italy. So thank you, Julia, for sharing your great job on the United Nations. And thank you also, Claudia, for giving Julia with us today.
Yeah, it was a great pleasure, and I just met her on the We Raise Up channel, so I think it's a great networking. For other purposes, but I think it's great because you get to know other people internationally, and it's great to exchange point of views.
And information.
And also very dynamic and forward-looking. So if all those people at some point are the leaders of the hospitality industry, it's a good outlook, because we all have the same vision. So we have to embrace technology more.
Rise Up is on LinkedIn too.
Yeah,
and it's a platform as well. So they also, if you sign in, you get special events and all of this. So it's very cool as well.
Okay, so Google Rise Up and sign up on the platform. Yes, fine. So thank you very much, and Antonio, thanks to you to manage our community today.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, so thank you very much, and see you on next Thursday. Yes.
Okay. And tomorrow with Christina.
With another episode of The Italian Job. See you guys next week. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Ciao.